So this has been developing for a few weeks, and I've been monitoring it on Twitter and various other places that women's basketball is discussed. And what do you know? Apparently, there is some type of Angel Reese and Candace Parker beef. I hesitate to even call it that, but it's something that's kind of been manufactured by Angel Reese fans who are calling out Candace Parker as some kind of hater towards Angel Reese, and it stems from a tier list that Candace Parker made where she was, ranking players in the league and, like the S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier. And I think Angel Reese came in at a level that was kind of unacceptable to her fans. And I think this happened during a stretch where Angel Reese was not really playing well to start the season. And it's just kind of snowballed from there. And Candace Parker is not someone that really holds their tongue ever. Very well respected, analyzes the men's game, stood up to people like Shaquille O'Neal, gives generally good takes, was a Hall of Fame player in her time, and a lot of this, the accusations being thrown at Candace Parker, she's jealous and all this other stuff. And quite frankly, I just don't know what Candace Parker would be jealous of aside from, her time in the sport coincides with less people playing, so there are less, money opportunities available for her. But on the court, which is what Candace Parker was talking about, I think she lobbied some fairly reasonable criticisms that, quite frankly, are things that I've said myself about Angel Reese when it comes to being a first or second option on a team. I just don't see it. And I don't care who watches this and disagrees, but I think there's going to be more, that needs to be accomplished if you're going to run out there with her as your first or second option. I think the easiest path to glory for Angel Reese would be being the third best player on the team. When she was a champion in college, it was a multiple, kind of attack. It was a lot of good players around her, and she was like this defensive anchor. And would fill it up, off the rebounds. But the WNBA is a much more competitive level, and I don't think you can be big in the league typically shooting under 40%. This has been the rap on her, throughout her career. And Candace Parker is getting attacked here, and Angel Reese is kind of playing into it as well. There's some tweet and deletes, retweets, and we're gonna take a look at that. But first, I want to show you what Candace Parker's entire ethos is. When it comes to talking about the WNBA, which, I try to approach my analysis with. Here's Candace.
I'm big on, within the women's game of basketball, I don't think that there's enough scrutiny about our play. Hear me out. Okay. As a woman, because the game has been attacked so much by people sitting in their basement that can't dunk a donut, let alone a basketball, they're the ones that have driven the narrative that nobody watches women's sports. So many people have become protective of the game of basketball that they cannot take criticism, that nobody's allowed to criticize the game. But guess what? I want to criticize on the first morning show. Is D-Wade is he gonna get to the basket? Is he gonna get to the free throw line? Or is he gonna settle for the catch and shoot, which is what the Spurs want y'all to do, right? But you can't do that in the women's game. But there's also a line where if a woman makes a mistake, then they're like, go make a sandwich in the kitchen, go do this. I'm cool if you attack my words and my play, but when you start attacking what I should be doing of making sandwiches and being in the kitchen, to me, it's like, that is crazy.
So that was 1 year ago. This had nothing to do with Candace Parker ranking on Angel Reese or anything. So I've actually got the tier video right here. So this one here, it looks like on her S tier, she has Asia Wilson. It's kind of low quality, so I'll explain it for you guys. Asia Wilson, it looks like Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart up top. Caitlin Clark on the A level. What may look like to be Kelsey Plum. On the B level, you got Enrique, you got Paige Beckers, and then on that C level, she has Angel Reese, and she's going to explain why she has Angel Reese there.
Then you got Angel Reese. I put her right at that C level. I think in terms of being above, you have to be able to have the ability to carry a team, be a 1 or 2 option.
I mean, we've seen how it's worked out this year with Angel Reese being the 1 or 2 option. Go argue with the standings.
Angel Reese is fantastic at her role, which is offensive rebounding. She showed and demonstrated so much growth in that first year. I think that this is my tier.
Then we will go over to the first episode of Candace Parker's new podcast with Aaliyah Boston. I believe it's called Post Moves. And this is what she says.
I in no way, shape, or form am a hater. What player are you taking Angel Reese over of those that I just listed?
Guess we'll wait for their response.
Silence. Silence. And then we've got Angel Reese responding to, this stuff, which Angel Reese says, cloud is one hell of a drug. Like, it gets to a point. We saw a repost here. I'd be mad, too, if a girl who was beautiful, rich, famous, and well-liked among her peers comes in, breaks my records, gets promotion and brand deals I couldn't get, then has the audacity to steal my vet. I'd be bitter. So this is Candace Parker's first episode of her podcast. So I imagine she does want to talk about, something that is pertinent and relevant in the news right now, just like Angel Reese seemed to do when she launched her podcast, which on the thumbnail, she featured this person. I must have imagined that happening. Like, I just must have just dreamed that up, apparently. So, I don't know, man. Now, I'm not here to talk about people's looks or anything, but when we're talking about Angel Reese and Candace Parker, we're talking about women who appeal to whatever demographic they are appealing to. So I'll put it like that. Candace Parker's entire thing has been basketball. I talk about basketball. She's not talking about brands. She's not talking about any of this. And Candace Parker has come under fire from a lot of the same people who swore up and down Sheryl Swoopes was doing nothing wrong when she was talking about Caitlin Clark, overtly lying. I think there is, somewhat of a difference there when you call her 25 years old in college and mix those things up. And Sheryl has done basketball analysis on Caitlin Clark, but we've seen just the repeated level, which has kind of made it look funny. I think in this case, I think social media is amplifying this to a huge degree. Candace Parker's not going anywhere. She's much more liked and much more plugged in media-wise than a Sheryl Swoopes is, who seems to be just kind of a women's basketball legend, who people will listen when she speaks, but there are multimedia companies that are behind Candace Parker, so she's not going anywhere. And if Angel improves her game, I feel like Candace Parker would easily show her love, but in the rush to call everyone a hater for hating on Angel Reese, Candace Parker has come under fire. I don't think this is particularly fair. I don't think she said anything that was out of bounds. And good on her for tripling down on it. Because when it's time to talk about basketball, there is nowhere to run. There is no huge overarching conversation. There is no racial dynamic to be had here. We are talking about the game. And people can't handle when you talk about the game, I think, what I've noticed when it comes to women's basketball. So good on Candace Parker for figuring it out. Angel Reese, every right to respond, how she feels about it. She's an active athlete, and, athletes use anything for motivation. So if anything, hopefully she changes Candace Parker's mind, changes a lot of people's minds. But for me, this looks like a whole bunch of crying, and good on Candace Parker for saying, hey, y'all are not running me off the block. I don't know who y'all think I am, but I'm not soft. You guys are stands. Stay in the stands place. That's kind of what Candace Parker feels like she's saying right now. So deal with that however you must, if you're watching this video disagreeing with it. So anyway, my name is Rich. I'm up out of here. What do you think of the Candace Parker and Angel Reese dynamic? Is this going to be something that continues? We need to follow. You let me know. My name is Rich Latta. It's one lifetime. I'm up out of here. Peace.